All right. Hey, Cameron Frazier, what's up? Thanks for taking the time to join me today.
Hey, Matt, I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. I heard you just got back from a charter school conference out in Dallas.
Yeah, with Charter School Growth Fund, we were out there for a policy convening, and really had a great time. It was extremely cold in Dallas, so excited to be back in Florida to experience the sunshine.
I feel you there. I can feel you there. Well, again, thanks for taking the time here. I think what we're trying to do today is just provide a little bit more of an understanding and a deeper sort of story about what it looks like when Teach for America Corps members become Teach for America alumni, and how their leadership continues to evolve, and the way they're able to impact the community on a large level. But in order to do that, why don't we, if you don't mind, why don't we start at the beginning of your story? And so if you would, Cameron, just tell me a little bit about your personal journey and sort of experience with education that led you to becoming a Teach for America Corps member in the first place.
Yeah, I remember in Jacksonville, I'm a first college generation graduate. And I remember being a part of Leadership Jacksonville's collegiate program. I believe at the time it was called the Collegiate Leadership Experience, but since then they changed the name. And a part of our education day, we were at Tiger Academy, and then ED Crystal Roundtree was there presented by Teach for America. And I was a junior in college. And I remember her talking specifically just about one day and the issues that were occurring in our community. And it really struck me and inspired me to become a sub. I started subbing that year. And just like really noticed firsthand the need, for excellent educators, but Black male teachers, seeing the impact that I was able to make on students as a substitute teacher, really inspired me to join the Corps and to stay in.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So what year did you join the Corps?
2012. Yeah,
2012 Jacksonville Corps, right?
Jacksonville.
Nice.
The best Corps.
Duval. Yep. All right.
Duval.
It's good to hear that Crystal I think, Crystal Roundtree, for those who don't know, the founding executive director of Teach for America Jacksonville. So that's awesome that, your story included her as well. So then tell me just a little bit. So you came 2012, you're a Corps member. So you had done the substitute teaching thing, but now you're actually teaching your own class. Where were you teaching, and what was that experience over the 2 years like for you?
Yeah. I love this story. So again, I'm a first generation college grad, and I remember my mom's reaction when I told her that I was going to be a teacher. She was like, "You went to school 4 years to do what? Like, to what?" She hated school growing up. Like, she did not, like, me becoming a teacher did not sit well with her. And however, I believe that I can make a difference in my community. And Teach for America afforded me the opportunity to make a difference in my home community at Matthew Gilbert Middle School, which is in the neighborhood in which I grew up. And that was an amazing experience for me. And to prep for it, I remember like watching all of like the teacher movies, like we all do, like Lean on Me, Stand and Deliver, like Freedom Writers. Like, I thought I was going to be like that teacher to come in and just change the world. And I remember quickly just being faced with reality. I remember just like my students were not able to read on grade level. My sixth graders, I taught sixth grade English, and they were not reading on grade level. And I remember teaching six cohorts of sixth graders, and 5 out of the 6 cohorts were behind in reading. And to me, that was like, 1 is too many, right? Like 1 not reading on grade level is too many. Despite that though, we had amazing results that year. We were able to increase student achievement. And I was recognized by the district as being one of the teachers as leading with results in reading. And that was just an amazing experience, being able to teach in my home community, being able to teach kids who, living in the same apartment complex that I grew up in, and teaching individuals who went to high school with me, their brothers and sisters. Like, it was definitely home. And it really was a personal work that I was doing. And I loved every bit of it.
Did you talk about that with your students? Like, hey, I grew up in this, I was in the same apartment complex.
All day, every day.
Yeah.
I used to love we used to love going to home visits. I used to always go back to like the apartment complex, and every day for me, like that was my route to school, just like passing by that apartment complex, right? Like passing by the park that I used to play in, just it was home, and like I said, it was so personal. And my kids knew my story, and I was learning theirs. And I think that's what really led us to having amazing results, like that building of of those relationships.
And so what did that 2 years experience, did you see then some of the systemic inequities that maybe impacted you in your own educational experience growing up, but from a different lens and a different perspective than what you had before your core experience?
Yeah, for sure. I remember like being baffled as a teacher, like coming in and seeing that my kids were reading the same textbooks that I used in middle school, right? Like that just baffled me. Like the lack of resources, the lack of exposure, like all of those things just reminded me of my own educational experience. However, despite all of that, like I had great teachers growing up, and I wanted to be a great teacher for my kids. And at Gilbert, I remember it was like 5 of us that year, corps members who came in, and we all just really did everything. We put our heart in it, and we did everything that we needed to do to help our kids and community be successful. And Gilbert is an amazing school. I love it to death. Like it has a special place in my heart, always will. But there are definitely systemic challenges, that my kids faced, that I faced as well. And I tried to stand in front of them as much as I could by providing additional resources and etc. But they definitely existed.
Yeah. Yeah. Gilbert is I think Gilbert has a special place with the TFA partnership too. I know we've had a lot of you mentioned 5 in your year, and I know, I think Kate Fulgenetti was, she was assistant principal of the year for the whole state of Florida when she was assistant principal a few years back at Gilbert. So it's awesome that you were kind of able to come home, like you said, and be part of the Matthew Gilbert TFA partnership. So, but what I'm hearing you say is that it sounds like you realized that maybe the issues weren't so much about your your specific classroom that you were teaching, or even the school that you were in, but larger issues, same textbooks that you've been using, and sort of lack of infrastructure and opportunities. Am I hearing you say that is what sparked the notion in your mind of doing something beyond just teaching in a classroom?
Yeah. In addition to that, it was just like the lack of professional development, the lack of like I was a great teacher. I was a good classroom manager. Like I had great relationships with my kids, but I wanted to be an instructional expert. Like I wanted to know, like, how do I teach kids how to read? Like every year, these kids are coming to me. I'm getting 6th graders every year that do not know how to read. What is going on in elementary school? And how do I teach kids how to read? And that eventually led me to making my first big move out of Jacksonville, my first time moving ever. I moved to Nashville, Tennessee. And I started teaching 3rd grade reading at Rocketship. And at Rocketship, I was coached and developed to be an amazing teacher for my kids. And as a result, we had amazing results. I was able to grow 2 cohorts of 3rd grade students, on average 1.5 years growth. And that eventually led me to being promoted to assistant principal at KIPP Nashville, where again, I just learned so much about how to coach teachers, how to develop teachers, what is quality, what does a quality education look like? Like I appreciate the opportunity of being developed. But for me as a teacher, back then, it was just like, I was hitting the wall. Like I'm a good classroom manager, but I wanted to be more than that. Like for me, it was about really, really, really like changing the trajectory of my students, and me managing them in the classroom is not changing their trajectory. Me teaching them how to read is changing their trajectory in life and providing them with greater opportunities. So that's pretty much that was the real reason why I decided to leave Jacksonville.
Okay, I feel that. And so, walk me through the timeline there. What year was this that you left Jacksonville and went to Rocketship's a charter academy, right? Like a national charter school academy.
Yep, Rocketship is a charter network based out in California, but that year they had expanded to Nashville, and they later expanded to DC. So they are operating across 3 different states in the country, but they operate a lot of different schools. And KIPP is a large network of charter schools with over 200 schools across the country.
Sure. So what year was this that you went to Nashville?
2015. So after my 3rd year of teaching,
okay,
I moved to Nashville 2015, and I stayed there for 4 years. And for 4 years.
Yeah. So you taught your placement school for 3 years, made your first big move, was in Nashville, getting a deeper understanding of the actual, like how to run a school, how to train teachers, how to get students on grade level reading in 3rd grade. And so then you came back to Jacksonville in 2019 or 20?
2019. Yeah.
2019, right before our world changed?
Right before the world changed.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the purpose behind that? Is that what that move back to Jacksonville is Becoming Collegiate Academy, the story of that move?
Yeah. I was almost in like LA, DC, New York. I was like, hey, I'm live the next part of my life, go to the next city, have a great time, be a principal, enjoy life. And I remember being led back home. I ended up getting accepted into a program, the Freedom Fellows Institute, which trained leaders of color to found high quality schools in their home communities. And getting accepted into that program, and just I was always connected to Jacksonville, even though I was away, just continuing to follow the news and just seeing like everything that was going on. And I remember reading News for Jacksonville one morning and seeing that like 36 kids had been shot like at that point in the year, and the year hadn't even ended yet. And like that just brought tears to my eyes. I'm like, this is not my home community. Like, this is not Jacksonville. This is not reflective of the North Jacksonville that I know. And I was doing like so much like good work in Nashville, and I was loving it there. But I knew that I was doing the right work in the wrong community. And was just led to come back home, like really led to come back home, because in my mind, like I said, I was like, DC, New York, LA, like big city, here I come. And, it was like, nope, this is where you're needed. And I'm so happy that I made that choice. And blessed to have the people in my life who was able to help me make that choice and navigate being able to come back home.
All right. Jacksonville is certainly the better off for it. So I think I can speak. I know TFA Jacksonville is happy to have one of our alumni back home, and it was great seeing you around the office a lot back in the 2019 and time period when we went to the office a lot. But okay, so then let's shift gears, and why don't you tell me a little bit now about Becoming Collegiate Academy? I think you're opening in the fall, and it's going to be a K-5 school in Jacksonville. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Why K-5?
Why K-5? It goes back to my story, right? Like, you got to catch them while they're young. We have to catch them while they're young. We have to shape their minds while they're young. I believe we have to get our kids on track to college. In kindergarten, right? Like, we have to start those conversations early. Like, it's extremely important. And we have to start shaping their minds early. And for me, once I left Jacksonville, 3 out of the 4 years that I was in Nashville, I worked in elementary schools. And just seeing the impact that I was able to have, not only on like teachers, but on students, just really made me like fall in love with elementary education. And that is really where the foundation is built. And if our kids don't have a strong foundation, like, they really have a hard time in the later grades. And it makes everybody else work harder. And I want to make sure that our kids like have a really strong, solid foundation. So therefore, when they enter 6th grade, they're reading on grade level, they're able to critically think, like they have all the necessary skills and habits that they need to be successful. And the same for high school and the same for college. So, elementary school is now my heart. I used to love middle school. I thought I would love high school, but elementary school is like, I love the kindergartners. I love them when they're babies and like watching them grow, watching their brains develop, and watching them really pick up the skill of reading, right? Like seeing kids like fall in love with reading, like something about that, just like, I love it. Like there's no greater feeling in this world to me. And I want to be able to experience that. I will experience that every single day leading Becoming Collegiate Academy.
That's awesome. I feel like I zoomed you off there, cut you off a little bit in the beginning. I love hearing about your passion for reading. I was an English teacher myself, so certainly speaking to my heart there. I maybe go back into you. It sounded like you were about to start saying that Becoming Collegiate Academy is a school for, I don't know if it was certain neighborhoods or not, but go ahead, maybe tell us the vision behind the school.
Yeah, we are a school for the community, by the community. And we say that because me as the founder and the team that we've assembled are community members who are committed to our vision, our mission of preparing all of our kids for success in college, starting in grades K-5. We can't keep throwing the same dart at this, right? Like, like reading proficiency in North Jacksonville is 36% right now. We can't keep throwing the same dart at the issue. And we have thought about it in a really innovative and special way to really be able to motivate and inspire our kids to achieve. And the way we hook our kids, the way we help inspire them is through focusing in on historically Black colleges and universities and that experience. HBCUs in our communities are like a beacon of hope, a beacon of light. And our kids don't really get the access to knowing about the greatness of HBCUs and really being able to like experience the great things that happen within those institutions. So our school is an HBCU elementary school. We're the first of our kind. We are innovative in that approach. And it is all about helping our kids. It's all about taking best practices from HBCUs and infusing them within our culture so that our kids have that HBCU experience, that experience of having positive relationships and building positive relationships, the experience of having high expectations, the experience of being able to know who they are, their identity, where they come from, and being affirmed in that. Like we believe that by doing so, our kids will be able to achieve greatness. And we know that this is possible because research shows us this. Like research shows us that one, these are the best practices that should be replicated in the K-12 experience. And then two, kids want this. They want their schools to feel like an HBCU. They want to be affirmed in their identities. They want to have positive relationships. And families have told us that this is what they want. This is what their kids need. Our community has told us this is what the community needs. And we are so excited to be able to bring about an option choice for the North Jacksonville community that is innovative, that is different, but is thought about with the community in mind. This school is everything that, I'm a first generation high school grad. So it's everything that my parents didn't have in school, right? Like it's everything that I didn't have in school. And it's everything that my kids who I taught at Matthew Gilbert didn't have. Like it's all of those experiences, making sure that we provide them with just like everything that has stopped. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's a passionate, emotional subject. No,
like when I'm thinking about like kids that I've taught, I'm thinking about like my own parents and like their experiences and my experiences is like righting all of those wrongs, right?
Right.
And just doing so in a very special way. And like this school is a school for the community, by the community, and we continue to say that, and we'll continue to lead with that.
It's so great that it's for the community, by the community, being led by someone from the community who represents the community. I know you mentioned earlier, be living in some of the same apartments that you were teaching kids, but just all that research in terms of kids who can see someone who looks like them representing what is possible, right? Someone who looks like them being a school leader, being a teacher, being someone that has leveraged the power of education to break the, cycle of poverty.
Yeah.
Is so you don't have to apologize for anything. You're doing incredible work. I'm excited so it opens this fall 2022-23 school year. And so we're going to have to follow up maybe and take this show on the road and get out and see your school when it opens. How about that?
Yeah, would love it. Please come. Yeah.
And where's it going to be again?
We're going to be located in North Jacksonville. We have targeted the Norwood community, specifically the 32206 and 09 zip codes, because that is where the lowest literacy rates are in our community. And there are not a lot of options for choice in that community. So we are specifically targeting the North Jacksonville community, and we will be located off of Norwood Avenue. So if you're familiar with Jacksonville, we're right off of Norwood Avenue. And we're really excited about being able to impact the community I was educated in. I'm an Andrew Jackson Tiger. I'm a Jackson grad, an alum, and I'm just so excited to be back home. My grandma stays like right down the road from where the school is at. I got a family in the area. Like it's being back home, and it's so special.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming to share a bit about your story and the story of the community that you're serving. And I hope this was helpful and inspiring for folks who are going to be watching this. And like I said, we'll have to come back out in the fall. I know you've got a lot to do between now and the fall. I'm sure to stand up an HBCU elementary school, but we'll be out there cheering you on and supporting you this fall. So looking forward to it.
Thank you. Looking forward to it as well. Thank you so much.
Peace, man.
Alrighty.